Hooty hoo, hooty hoo. All right. Hi, you guys. I'm sweating already. I'm like sweating right now. I was just perusing Twitter. Oh my gosh. Okay, so obviously we're gonna get started with this tweet that Donald Trump just tweeted. I have fully. Oh, it just went away. Hi guys. Give me a sec. Oh my gosh, she's on a tweet storm. All right, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I have fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the single greatest political crime in American history, the Russia hoax. Likewise, the Hillary Clinton email scandal. No redactions. I had nothing planned. I was like, news will happen. News will happen by the time I go live tonight. It'll be fine. Woohoo! Okay, so this is really exciting, you guys. I'm really excited about this. I don't know when this is coming, but this is a really great. Yeah, nothing is happening. Nothing ever happens, right, you guys? So I just tweeted. Just something that popped into my mind was coronavirus, was him getting and recovering from coronavirus, the C before D. It is like he literally just recovered yesterday or today, and now we're getting declass. So it could be, multiple meanings exist. So this is really exciting. I know, like a strict diet of popcorn for the last 2 years, but like now it's really time. Like now it's really time. It's so good to see you guys. I'm really glad that I get to hang out with you guys while this is coming out. And let me just look at some of the other tweets that he has going on right now. Paul Sperry, think of it. The FBI relied on information from a suspected Russian spy to spy on a U.S. presidential advisor and never told the spy court its source was a suspected Russian spy, even though the FBI had sought the same spy warrant on that Russian spy himself just a few years earlier. Sorry, guys, this cough. Paul Sperry, Showtime's the Comey rule is supposed to be based on true events, yet fictionalizes key parts the story. One, dossier originally funded by a Republican. False. 2, the emails. Mifsud told Papadopoulos Russians and were hacked from DNC. False. Flynn promised remove Russia sanctions. False. Trump says because Mueller and his 18 angry Democrats were illegally in on the scam. Awesome. What are you guys saying? IET, I know, I was actually just talking to him. I'm like, I hate that you can't call into the show tonight. Okay, so one of the things I'm working on is I'm getting a new computer so that I will be able to, I have some fun stuff in the works. So, it's one of the reasons that I was kind of loosey-goosey with tonight. Well, one is Pink Patriot podcast is tomorrow night, and I'm sure we'll go over like the happenings tomorrow night. We have actually 2 of my favorite people tomorrow night, White Hat and Patricia from the Keystone channel, so that'll be really fun. And then I know we've got some Q drops to go over too, but yeah, I'm getting a new computer because the computer I have is a joke. And you guys saw, I can't even run Zoom or anything. No, they're not allergies. I don't know what this stupid cough is, to be honest. Awesome. I want to go in. I want to open the Q drops and just go over because I know that Q is also dropping. And all right, recent one. Red October. That was the showing us Trump's tweet about declassification. The one right before that, 4814. Why are we being censored? Why are we being attacked daily? Well, okay, Why are we being censored? Did they know this was coming? This is going to be massive. All of these large voices that we had out there that were circulating this information, the real information, the true information, all got taken off their platforms, and it's continuing to happen. Not just on Twitter, on Instagram. I had a bunch of friends get nuked on Instagram. There was like a big massacre today on Facebook, and so maybe they knew that this was coming and they were scared, and that's why. I want to read some of these. I might need to clear my throat chakra, possibly. We are too big, too viral. They can't take us all down. Yeah, we just keep coming back. I mean, a lot of the people are obviously incognito now. They've learned their lesson. They can't come back with like anything even remotely similar to the profiles they had before, because they get nuked instantly. It's crazy how, I mean, we know what they leave up, and they're like, oh, it's, you know, we don't have the manpower to take down the pedophile stuff or the, you know, the really terrible stuff, the human trafficking, etc. But yet somebody that posts about Q will get nuked within like hours of coming back, of regenerating. Yes, okay. So I wanted to read the rest of that Q drop. Why are we being attacked daily? Why are we being condemned by Congress? Oh yeah, you guys missed that. 1984, thought crime. What happens when people are no longer allowed to think freely? What happens when people are no longer allowed to challenge their authority? What happens when people no longer fight back? So again, Q has told us time and time again to fight back, to keep coming back. I'm not exactly sure if they have any tips or tricks to doing that, because obviously it has not been easy for the people that have gotten taken down. I have no idea why, by the grace of God, my account is still there. But every day we lose more and more people off of Twitter, which is where I mainly am, but I know off of everything, and it's really extremely frustrating. And every day I wake up, I'm like, is today the day? It could be. I could be gone tomorrow. And if that's the case, I don't know. I will be everywhere else. I will be everywhere that I can be. I'm not going to give up, especially not in this next month. The Q drop right before that. I use my real name. Why do you think they haven't taken me down on Facebook? I don't know. I really don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to me as far as, I mean, sometimes I can tell people by what they posted. I'm like, you're probably going to get taken down for that. And then sure enough, they get zapped. But sometimes it's really hard to tell why they've left some accounts and why they've taken down others. There are still accounts up that go balls to the wall all the time. I don't want to say them because I don't want to put them on a hit list, but you guys probably know. These are accounts that have been around since the beginning, and I was always like, after that first purge, I was like, oh, well, maybe, you know, some of us are safe. Maybe they can't take us all. But they got Eyes on Q. They got they got Jordan Sather the other day. Who else have they gotten recently? I don't know. Anyway, we had another kind of recent purge. I have no idea why they leave some and why some are taken. I am getting the Q posts on qalerts.app. You don't hashtag. Those are the first people they got, people who hashtag. Yeah, that could be. I never hashtag. Well, not never, but I rarely ever hashtag. And I mean, it's also lame. There's a new YouTube channel called Conversations with Heaven and Earth on Earth, and what the QHHT practitioner there says this Thursday, October 8th, is the broadcast. If anyone want to take a look, interesting. What is C before D? Well, we've had several C before D is something that Q has said over and over again. And so we've had obviously a lot of different speculations about what that was. I think at one point we kind of got a confirmation that it was Coates before D class. But again, remember that multiple meanings can exist. And so it just seems, I think it just was like pointed out to me in my mind that he literally just recovered from coronavirus, and then that day he's declassifying everything. So I thought that was really cool. My account was private with 575 followers, and I got nuked for Where We Go One, We Go All in my bio. And it's really frustrating. So yeah, guys, since I've got, I do have some things I wanted to go into and talk about, but feel free, since tonight, like, it's just me and you. This might be a shorter one than usual, but Q&A time, guys. Any questions you have for me, let's go. And we'll start getting into more of these Q drops and things. But thank you. I'm not getting sick. This is literally, it's like a cosmic cough. I keep calling it's like a spiritual attack. It's really hard to explain. I don't cough all day long, but the second I try to do a podcast, the second I try to do one of my lives, or the second I talk on the phone to certain people, I get this cough. I'll get rid of it. I'm not worried about it. Is anyone else having severe anxiety about voter fraud? I'm not having anxiety over it. It's definitely something we want to keep an eye on. We want to keep spreading information about it. Every time we see that voter fraud happening, ballots getting dumped, lost, multiple sent to one person, we want to keep sharing that information. We want to keep pushing people to vote in person. It's really important. So I believe ultimately everything will be under control. Does that mean that we aren't going to have a shit show when it comes to election day? Not necessarily. We still might have an absolute debacle on that day. But if we do, it'll be for a reason. I'm not worried about the election ultimately. I'm not worried about what will happen ultimately. But will it be smooth and clean for sure? I really don't know. I'm getting a Mac. I just don't know how to use a PC, and I'm going to be using it in conjunction probably with this one so I can have the two monitors, and I use my iPhone, and I use the, what's it called, AirDrop a lot. Like, I'm constantly using AirDrop, so I'm going to do a Mac. Excuse me. Yeah, Tommy G got taken down again. Yep, that's right. If you guys missed that podcast that I did with him and IET, I don't have a link for you, but if you guys follow Tommy on anything and you're familiar with his podcast, No Mercy, we did it the other day. I forgot what day it was, but it was really awesome. Those guys are a lot of fun to talk to. And it's a good mix because, like, we're all so totally different that it's a cool conversation. Yes, yes, yes. My son is very good. Thank you for asking. I did see POTUS's new tweet. It's what we started with, unless there's been something new. Let me check. Hello, Mr. Trump. His newest one 4 minutes ago, new FDA rules make it more difficult for them to speed up vaccines for approval before Election Day. Just another political hit job. I'm glad that, actually, that brings me to something that a lot of people bring up, because some people are confused. Why does he talk about the vaccines, like wanting to fast track them, et cetera, et cetera? And it bums a lot of people out that are, afraid of, obviously, mandated vaccines and things like that, but people that just don't like them in general. And so I do see a lot of people getting bummed on him for that, but I think it's an important thing to point out that not everything he says, he is he is an expert at pretending to come to the table with things that he knows are not going to come to fruition. And so you can't take everything he says at face value and say, oh, this is what he's advocating for, this is what he's going to do. There's a level of 5D chess that's going on here that could be taking it out of the hands of something else. It could be exposing it, but also keep in mind that he's already the president of the people that are awake, and he has to still kind of gather up some of those people who are not quite there yet. So he still has to speak to everybody. He can't just speak to us. And actually, he needs to speak to them more than he needs to speak to us. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to follow through with some of these things that he's talking about. Oh, another thing, that the art of war, exactly. He's very well versed in the art of war. You can find like so many of his old tweets are literally quotes from Sun Tzu, from the Art of War, and he wrote his book as The Art of the Deal, like kind of based on the Art of War. And so when you read that and you look at some of the things that he does, it gives you a new perspective. It gives you a different perspective into some of these things that he does appear to be weak when you're actually strong. That could actually go along with him going into the hospital this week. Make everybody think like, oh, you know, he's sick, he's on death's door, look at him, he can hardly breathe, and then he comes out like a lion and declassifies everything. So it's really a level of brilliance that is quite incredible. I don't know what the Judas Goats theory by Thomas Wichter is. I haven't seen that, I don't think. Oh, I was gonna say today the stimulus that was bumming a lot of people out, because he says that they're not gonna go forward with negotiations until after the election. And so on the surface, people are like, what, like that's bad news. But it's important to understand that when you have Nancy Pelosi not seriously coming to the table and putting a bunch of bullshit into these packages, if it was ultimately going to end up being worse for the country while passing this, it's better. It's 1 month away. It's better to wait until after the election to get that pushed through. So you can't just like look at a headline and get the emotional reaction from it and then like go with that. It just like pump the brakes on it a little bit, look into it a little bit more. And sometimes things that on the surface appear to be bad news will start making more sense when you look into it. We have been so manipulated by the media to like have that fear reaction because that's how they control us. What spiritual practices do you do? I meditate, I chant. I was raised Buddhist, and so I chant. It's Nam-myoho Renge Kyo Daimoku. I'm a Nichiren Buddhist. I pray. I kind of do all of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I'm still shopping around. But I still feel things from like all of them. So sometimes different practices, just I connect with them more at a certain time. What do you know about the quantum financial system, Jasara? Not a lot. I know a lot of people are very excited about that. I get asked about that all the time, and I do not know enough to talk about it without making myself look absolutely stupid. So I'm interested in it. I'm all for it, but I don't know enough to really talk on it. Have you ever read Trump's book of poems? No, I didn't know that existed. Wait, Q's first post and the D class thoughts. So the first post, as we all know, or as maybe we don't all know, was the kind of the boldest of them all. The very first Q post was the one where they came out and said, Hillary Clinton is going to be arrested at such and such time tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. One of my theories on that is that possibly at some point we got to a point in the Q clock where we started to run backwards. That was on October 27th of 2017. So if we're looking at like a 3-year delta of some of these things starting to line up, if you go back to the first 100 posts or even the first like 30 posts and read them and correlate it to what is going on right now, you will see like all of these connections. It's really uncanny. So is it possible that at some point we started working backwards and what they were talking about in 2017 is actually pointing to 2020? It's an interesting theory and one that, you know, I kind of like. October 30th, 2017. I'm glad you started chanting again. It resonates with you. Yes, it does. You're right. I stopped for a while and I'm back. Taco Tuesday, Neo. Have fun. But then when she will be when will she be arrested? Future proves past. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, obviously, if she gets arrested, then it'll be like the most ultimate future proves past that we've ever had. Where can I find Tommy's podcast? He's on Instagram, create the mayhem, I think. So he's got to have a link on there. I am not watching the Buffalo Bills right now. I don't want to cry while I do my live chat. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, just like Alara just said, it's just a matter of time now. If that stuff gets declassified, especially the stuff with the Hillary Clinton server, guys, that leads to everything. That leads to, okay, so there are so many things, there are so many different layers to this, and I know that a lot of people get impatient, myself included, when we're talking about like documents of like, you know, these like corruption that you know is treason level, but also you know is not going to wake up anybody because nobody cares, like the ugliness in the division of the political parties and everything that's going on right now. It's just like, even though we get these major things happening, we know these balls are rolling. We've got the ball rolling on some of these things. It's still not enough. You're like, let's get into the crimes of humanity. Let's get into what was on her servers that made hardened police barf and cry when they looked at it. Let's get into what happened in Haiti. That's when we get into the Hillary Clinton server. All of that stuff is on there. That will topple everything. And so, yeah, you know, human trafficking, everything leads back to that server. So on all levels. Kate, Q used to talk about this positive AI. Have you heard anything about it recently? I haven't. Actually, I take that back. Well, I heard something from like an unofficial source. I had a really interesting conversation with somebody the other day about like a possibility of something, but I don't think I'll get into that because it's more just theory. But I don't know. If there's negative AI, possibly there's positive AI. I have no idea. Seems like. What do you think happens after we've won? We build a utopia, 5D ascension. I've heard lots of theories. What do you think? I really don't know. I mean, eventually, yes, to all of that. But timeline, I have no idea. It might not even happen in my lifetime. I don't, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, these things will happen very rapidly, maybe after the election. I've gotten to the point where I don't get my hopes up for stuff like that. But obviously, if it happens, it would be wonderful. There are certain things that I feel like if we get declassification on, it will rapidly move and change our world. So, you know, I don't know. I could in that sense, I could see a possibility of things rapidly changing in our world. But I don't like bank anything. The change is going to be as fast as the 80s to the 2000s were. That's actually a really good point. When you look at the difference, I mean, those of us that lived through it, I mean, looking back, we can see what a big change on it was between the 80s and the 2000s. But also, we're talking about fundamental changes that are even more massive than just all the technology that we had that came out in the last, 30 years. So 30, 40 years. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Michelangelo. Kate, thanks for going through the darkness of being a cyber girl and waking up to the light. The attacks you get from the shadows are worth it. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. That was another thing that I wanted to tap into, just something that I tweeted about the other day. An email that I got. Hold on, let me read a few more of these questions. Oh, what do you think about Trump tapping the railing, getting into the chopper? Yeah, that did strike me as being weird too. But it was almost like, I don't know. Okay, so on some level, I feel like I love him to death, but there is like an awkwardness. And I kind of felt like in his mind, he was like, don't hold the railing because it's going to make you look weak. And they're going to be like, oh, he had to steady himself as he walked to the helicopter. So, but it was there and then he had already reached for it. So then it would have looked weird for him to pull his hand back. I have no idea. So I like didn't speculate on it too much, but I did notice that it was like these weird taps. And I don't know if anybody counted the taps. Yeah, anytime somebody's like, but her emails, and they say it all like shitty like that, they obviously have no idea what is on her emails. Three taps going and two taps coming back. Yeah, so anyway, I wanted to, I got an email the other day that was like threatening to, I posted it on Twitter. I'm not going to read it because it just says gross stuff or whatever, but you guys all know, or if you don't, I've talked about it a few times on my channel, a few times on a couple other channels about how like in the days of yore, I worked for Playboy for a while. And it's not all that interesting. I never saw anything nefarious or whatever. But I also wanted to bring it up just because I, I never wanted to hide anything about myself because I never wanted, if you hide it, then people are going to be like, oh, what else is she hiding? Or is there a reason she's hiding this or whatever? So, so I've talked about that. Anyway, I got an email the other day that was like, just really nasty and threatening to expose me and the things I did at the mansion, and they like put my pictures out and my XXX pictures, and I slept with Hef, and all the people that you thought that were your friends at the mansion aren't really your friends. Anyway, whatever. The whole thing was kind of funny, especially looking back. My days at the Playboy Mansion were the most like boring, benign things ever. So it was no threat to me, but I also kind of wanted to make a point to, first of all, when somebody threatens you like that and they're going to expose you, I think this is what the armor of God thing is. Like, if you are being truthful, doesn't mean you have to tell everybody like every detail of your life, but if you're being mostly truthful, transparent about yourself, and you're not hiding things, and you're not like, it doesn't matter what's in your past as long as you are living well now, and that you are living in the light now and not hurting anybody and trying to help people and living for other people more than you live for yourself, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't matter what you did in your past, literally. I have friends that went to prison for literally murder. I have friends that went to prison for other reasons, friends that did pornography. These actually happen to be some of the most awakened people that I know these days. And maybe there's something to going through that darkness and actually looking it in the face to get that understanding. For some of us to actually have clemency for other people to help them through their awakening. And I think it's really important to point out that we should be encouraging everybody, no matter what their past, even if they voted for Bernie Sanders. It's still okay to have your awakening experience, and nobody's going to judge you, really. People that are awake, truly awake, aren't judging you for anything from your past. Anyway, so I put it online, number one, to just show them that, like, dude, bring it. What are you gonna post? Like, my pictures, my naked buns that are already out there on the internet, public anyway, you're gonna take those pictures? Okay, cool. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So in one way, it was me, like, you know, flipping them the bird. But on the other hand, and more importantly, I just wanted to remind people that that everybody's got a past. And the more of us that come out and they're like, yeah, hey, I struggled with drug addiction, or I was or am still a struggling alcoholic, or I went to jail, or, you know, I've went through bankruptcy and like 5 divorces, whatever it is that was in your past, it doesn't matter. As long as you are living better now, that you've learned the lessons, or you are learning the lessons. So then I put it online, and it was like an unbelievable response to it. I mean, I literally got to the point where Twitter wasn't letting me like anything, like any more of the comments, and just really beautiful comments. I literally did not see a single negative comment, and there were hundreds of comments of just support, and we don't care what's in your past. We love you for you. Thank you for what you're doing. We stand with you. You know, whatever. I mean, it was beautiful, and I felt like kind of an asshole. I always feel like an asshole when people are like giving me that kind of attention. Like, oh, I don't know. I just felt bad. It was so nice. It was so beautiful, and I didn't put it out there for that reason, for people to, you know, I mean, they were obviously really rallying behind me. It was very sweet. But I encourage anybody that has any kind of a past, that is worried about that, and worried what people are going to think of you as far as speaking out on what's true and what's right and what's good, just because you have something in your past. I really encourage you to go and look at that thread and look at every single one of those comments and realize that they're not just for me, they're for all of us. We all feel this way about each other. So it was really cool. And if you were one of those people that left one of those encouraging comments, I love you and thank you so much. And again, like, it's just, this is the beauty of humanity and this movement, and waking up, and getting rid of duality, getting rid of judgment of each other, and, you know, just being there for one another. It's cool. I'll admit it, I used to sell pictures of my feet for money. So what? The past is in the past. Oh yeah, dude. I did some weird stuff. In fact, when I was reading it, like, they're so stupid. They were like pretending they had stuff on me from the Playboy Mansion. If they would have just lied and been like, we've got stuff on you from college, I might have been like, oh no, what do they have? Luckily, I went to college in the 1900s before everything was documented on a cell phone, so I'm pretty sure nothing exists out there. But I had so many, like, embarrassing things and shady moments, but luckily nothing ever happened at the Playboy Mansion, like, literally. So I knew they were full of it. But oh man, there's one thing out there that would absolutely totally destroy me, come to think of it. If anybody ever got a hold of my Real World audition tape. Oh my God, you guys would hate my guts. Oh, I wouldn't have anybody watching me anymore. And it wouldn't just be because you hate me, it'd be because you would all die of cringe. You'd be deceased. I think it still exists. I think my mom actually found it. Oh, that was the worst. I think my mom found my Real World audition tape. I might as well just end it all right now. Oh boy. Real World was cool when it first came out. Well, Real World came out when I was, I don't know. I'm not that old. I think I sent in an audition tape in like the year 2000. Jen, you can email me at thekateawakening@gmail.com. And in the email, they signed it, The Resistance. Mark used to have the Playboy channel in the early 2000s. Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s, I feel like we're the heyday of Playboy. Not that I'm biased or anything, but, you know, that was still when it seemed kind of cool. It was right before they started putting, it was before you could buy like Playboy, everything with the bunny on it at Spencer's, you know, like they really cheapened their brand at that point. But like 80s and 90s, actually, Playboy was, I mean, it's like, you know, it felt prestigious. Oh, new drops. Thank you. I'll take a look. Unless. Oh, Celine, hello. I had a big shoe blog and lots of pervs asking. I should have cashed in. Dude, girl, you still should. You should see my friend Celine's shoe closet, by the way. Holy shit. Okay, what was I doing? Q alerts. It is the stuff that dreams are made of. Okay, so we do have a new Q drop. Think drop today regarding Senator Johnson regarding redactions, GSA versus FBI. Let's see what happens. Think POTUS today, no redactions. Do you see what happened? I don't. Anybody want to explain that to me? I don't get that one. Kate isn't that interesting anymore. She goes to bed at 7 p.m. Well, way to blow up my spot, Alara. Not that that's not true. It's true. I don't go to bed at 7. I go to bed at 8. But I get up early. I live on the West Coast, so like all the news starts happening early. So that was also just a part of like the awakening. Ever since my awakening, I can't sleep in because it doesn't matter what, even if I stay up late, I'm like, what's Trump tweeting? I have to like grab my phone, like one eye open, like what's going on Twitter? It's pathetic. I won't always be like this, I swear. After the election, I will get some help. Playboy After Dark, that was the raunchy stuff. Oh, they were like, we've got your XXX pictures. No, you don't. Oh, here, you want a wrench? Celine's feeling left out. It means you're a moderator. Now you have the power. Now people have to respect your authority. That was my reaction too. What happened? Let's see. The Senate was upset because the agency redacted everything. So Trump trumped the agencies. That's all I saw. GSA had a less redacted version than the FBI gave. Okay, thank you. Average Joe Patriot. When did you wake up? Oops, and what woke you? I woke up in February of 2018, and it was basically Q. I mean, essentially, if you want to get technical, first it was the pizza stuff. It was that rabbit hole, and then I found Q, and then it's just been going from there. But I was fully asleep before that. I don't think our job is over after the election. Path of most resistance. I agree with you, but I think I'm still going to take a break, even just for like a week or two. But I say that now. We'll see. At the same time, like I said in the beginning, I do have some things that I'm working on, more stuff out of this channel, so you might be seeing me more than you do now, and I'll keep you posted on that. Retrospect from Norway. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Oh, it was Fall Cabal parts 1 through 10 for me, Love Light says. That's a lot. I mean, a lot of people say that. So you're pretty recent too. It's really cool to see all the people that are recently awakened because the more recent awakenings tend to be happening even more rapidly. It just seems like everybody's kind of like getting pushed through even quicker now. So a lot of people that woke up, even after I did, are like catching me up on things because they're moving through it so rapidly. It's really cool. Did you have any spiritual experiences at the time of your awakening? And how? Yes, many, many. I still have them all the time. Lots of weird shit. Laura Lee. Oh, I am Laura Lee. Go watch Kate's first intro video. I learned so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, actually, if you're new to Q and the Great Awakening and all of that stuff, I do have intro. I mean, they're kind of goofy. They were my first videos I made. This is before I decided to do everything live because I'm super lazy. But I have what is QAnon. I have a what is the Great Awakening. I think I've got one on the media, but if you go to my very first videos, you'll find those. And as goofy as they are, and as much as I'm never going to watch them again, they are actually, I think, the best I can explain it. Maybe I could do a little bit better these days, but pretty much on par with how I would explain it today. So go check those out if you haven't and you're interested in learning. When did your mother wake up? My mother woke up, she's still kind of in her process, but she's getting there. My mom and dad were both kind of awake before I was in a lot of ways, just because they're intelligent and were paying attention, etc. So they knew a lot of the political stuff. My dad kind of was talking about a lot of this stuff my whole life, Federal Reserve, kind of all of this stuff, conspiratorial stuff, I guess you could say. So when I first had my awakening experience, I went running to my mother thinking she was going to be like, oh yeah, exactly. But I lost her when it came to like the human trafficking and the stuff that's done to children, and some of these things like were just too dark for her and too just too dark for her to wrap her brain around. So there was this kind of weird period of time where she was actually concerned about me and not getting it. And, it was very frustrating to me because I would go and I'd want to talk to her about all this stuff. It was like, and this, and this, and this, and this. And she was like looking at me like I was a crazy person. And there was that disconnect there. But then she slowly started to get it. Now I think she gets it. It is true though now, when I had my awakening experience, there weren't a lot of people putting this stuff together. I mean, there have been people that have been awake forever. There have been a lot of those people holding space for us for a very long time, and thank God for them. And, most of them just got written off as crazy, but I do think there are so many more people out there now putting the content together, and so it's easier now. It's easier to have access to this information and to have other people to talk to about it. My awakening was when I beat cancer going plant-based in 2016. Wow, that is really awesome. And I'm really happy that it happened that way for you. When you learn about the far out stuff between the secret space program and the galactic training of humans and reptilians, you lose a lot of people. Ain't that the truth, Mark? I mean, everybody's got their levels of what they're ready for. Even those of us that are awake don't all agree on some of this stuff. And that's okay. I would love to hear your top 5 rabbit holes that you looked into. So the pizza stuff, the Podesta emails definitely would be one of them. I mean, can you call Q like a single rabbit hole? Q is kind of like the laser pointer to all rabbit holes. There was a, who was the banker? Who was that banker? He was, now I don't even remember. Was he Ukrainian? Or was he Dutch? A Dutch banker that talked about being invited to one of these parties. For me, that really hit me hard when I watched that video. Someone in the chat will get it, I know. And I'll know his name when I see it. Uh-oh, my chat just froze. Hold on, guys, I have to refresh my page. So that video that kind of goes into the the power structure and what these people are doing. Dutch banker, thank you. Anybody remember his name? Let me see it. Yep, here it is. Ronald something, wasn't it? Ronald Bernard. So you can look up interviews with him. What else? Honestly, I went like pretty hard into the NXIVM stuff because that connected to everything. I don't know, everything is connected, so it all kind of just like comes, it just, the way that it came together for me. I wish I could have documented and had all of those links still work, because I feel like since my awakening was so rapid, it just happened in like the right way. And I feel like if 6 other people were sitting with me that weekend and doing the same research and seeing the same things that I was seeing, I feel like they also, it would have been impossible for it to not reach them too. So, but it's cool how everything, no matter like where you are in the world and what you get started with, whatever your red pill moment is, the thing that makes you go, wait a second, what is going on in the world? It all kind of leads us back to the same spot together, where we have the same understandings, not on literally everything, but on what's really important. Oh, the media was another really good deep rabbit hole in like Operation Mockingbird. Yeah, and then there were like really good documentaries and stuff like that. Also, I know it's not a rabbit hole, but the Law of One books were, I don't know, it was interesting for me because I was rereading them as I was researching all of the Q stuff, and it was like, I was like reading the book and then looking at the Q stuff and be like, wait, this is the same stuff. This is the same thing that they're talking about in here. This is what's happening now. So I know that's the same for a lot of the people that are, you know, into the Bible, say the same thing about like Revelations and stuff like that. That's what makes me interested in reading. I still have not read the Bible. I'm not a Bible person, but I believe from what I've seen, there's something to it. And it's funny, even my mom said the other day, she's like, she had a story for me. She's like, I'm not sure if you're going to find it funny now that you're religious. Like, I'm not religious. I know I post like Bible verses and things like that. Yeah, I gravitate towards some of that stuff now because I'm open to everything. And, but I definitely would not call myself religious. Oh, Jay Sean Gentle says, I am religious. My bad. I didn't realize that I was religious. Spiritual, yeah. I'm more spiritual than I am religious. When I started reading The Law of One, that's when the synchronicities went off the rails. That was in June of 2018. Those books opened channels, I think. That's so funny. That's probably exactly when I was, maybe a little bit after when I was reading. And the same thing, I had the same experience. As soon as I started reading those books, all the synchronicities started to like click into place. And then I went through, the first year of my awakening was mainly books. I mean, I was still doing a lot of research online. The initial wave was all online with all of the Podesta emails and stuff like that. And then I got more into the spiritual side of things, and I started to read, you know, some of the spiritual books. And it was like, as soon as I would finish one book, I would get a recommendation for another, and they all just seemed to line up so perfectly. And that first year, I was mostly doing my research in spirituality and in books. So, and then like I haven't read a book in like maybe a year now, because everything's just moved to what is happening right now. It's a shame. I wish I had an extra hour or two a day where I could read again, because I really, really love reading, and I really, really love the spirituality stuff. It's just right now I feel more like where I need to be is in what's happening on a daily basis, right in the now. And then I'll get back to all that. Yeah, nothing wrong with being religious. Some of the best people I know are like ultra religious, and I sit on the phone and I listen to them tell me all about it, and I listen, you know. I'm just not there. Hi, Anthony. My thing locked up again. I had to refresh it. Sorry, I've got my hair like tickling my face. So I keep touching my face. Religion in and of itself isn't bad. It's organized religion that is vulnerable to corruption, just like any other organization, JM4N. Exactly, exactly. So anything that is good, positive, benevolent, and powerful, you know, where a lot of people gravitate towards it, stuff that holds a lot of truth. Obviously, people gravitate towards truth naturally, is eventually going to get infiltrated, especially if it's been around for hundreds of thousands of years. So always take that with a grain of salt. That it also is important to look that nothing is really like, oh, we can't look at this organization and be like, oh, it's good or it's bad. Like even look at Freemasons. There are good people that are Freemasons, and like there's the 1% upper echelon that like probably is into nefarious stuff or whatever. But for the bulk of, and who knows how, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying. So a lot of these religions get infiltrated. So whether or not they started out nefarious or not, even if they're benevolent, they can get infiltrated, and then you've got bad things that happen within the organization. Anything where you've got condensed power with a few people, then you're gonna have that is like what the people who want to gain power focus on and grab and covet and want to get to. So, and they're very good at it. We are being controlled with fear. Religion has used fear a long time to control. Exactly. I think it's very clear right now to see what the media is doing and to see what really what the left is doing. Or no, I won't say the left. Anything like, because we've got a lot of people on the right too that are on the right, but that are anti-Trump. It's very clear to see who is pushing fear and who isn't. And fear is probably one of the most powerful emotions, and it can get you to do anything. It can get you to doubt anything, even things that you really, really know. It can get you to doubt yourself. It can get you to doubt, like I said, like gravity, for example. Fear can get you to doubt gravity. And if you don't believe me, I want you to close your eyes and picture walking down a sidewalk. And it's just a normal sidewalk, very sturdy. You're just walking down a sidewalk, and it's a normal sized sidewalk, and you're walking straight down the middle of it. And now I want you to imagine that both sides, everything on either side of the sidewalk just completely drops out to miles down below. So if you were to fall off either side, you would fall for miles. You're still on the same sturdy sidewalk, walking straight. Like, would your inclination be to drop to your knees? Because mine would. I'm like, I'm so fearful of heights. I hate them. you would start to doubt your own legs. You would start to doubt that you weren't just going to blow off the side. When you're walking down a normal sidewalk, you're not fearful that you're going to blow off into the street because you don't have that fear in you. But I think most people are afraid of heights, and so that's a good analogy to use for it. But that's how they've learned to get us to do whatever they want, is by putting fear into us. And then we give up our rights. We say, you know, oh, like, take my rights, just please protect me and my family. I would jump. Well, you'd be dead, because I said it was miles in the air. Yeah, I know some people have that, the fear of, like, there's something in them that is afraid that they're actually going to jump when they're up high. I don't think I've ever had that before, but I've talked to a lot of people that have that fear compulsion, like that they would do that. I would snuggle into that concrete for a nap. Well, I wouldn't be able to nap, but I would definitely like flatten myself out. We lose the fear if we laugh at it. I like that a lot. I think humor is very important. Whenever you can laugh, just do it. Yes, especially in the medical industry. Take this out, you'll die. If you treat yourself, you'll die. Yeah, I've seen this actually in action with people that I care about very deeply, that we're actually advocates for holistic healing and things like that, but then it becomes very different when they get their own diagnosis for something that's possibly life-threatening. And it's like everything that you've learned and that you've believed in and that you've seen with your own eyes and all of the people that you've talked to and that you trusted, suddenly that all goes right out the window. And when the fear sets in and you're like, now I need to listen to the doctors, because you go back to when that fear kicks in, you go back to your programming, and the programming tells you you can't trust anybody other than the medical professionals and the certain, you know, authorities. And it's really the ultimate test of, you know, and I don't blame people. I really don't. I don't know what I would do. I see things very clearly. There are things I think to myself, okay, if something happens to me, then this is what I'm gonna do. You know, I've got stuff in my cabinet that I've researched, that I believe in, that I've heard testimonies of people that they've used it, and but still, I have no idea how I would act if it really came down to it, because of the fear. So. Hey, Tyler. Yes. Programmatic belief systems which entrench us in a finite ideology which is entirely polarized. Yes. Not only is that true, but it sounds smart. So much programming, and that's really it. We're really trying to get out of that programming, and I think it's becoming clearer and clearer every day. Every single day there are people that are watching the mainstream media and they're like popping like popcorn. They're like, wait a second, these people are lunatics. Like, especially Trump leaving the hospital and going home, and the meltdown that the media had about him taking off his own mask on his balcony at his house where he lives. Do these knuckleheads walk around their own homes with masks on? So, and just like the level of vitriol, and it's just becoming more and more obvious. Obviously, to those of us that have been watching it for a little while, it's just like, it's laughable, but there's a purpose for it. There's a reason that this is still going on, and that the media is still acting a fool, and it is, I believe, a positive one. These people they're making it just more and more obvious. They're like caricatures. What do you think about Trump having a body double? It's possible. I mean, many world leaders do. My friend was actually outside of a bookstore when Hillary Clinton was doing a book signing, and like in the back of the store, and he saw Hillary Clinton get in a car and drive away, and then he saw Hillary Clinton get in a car and drive away. Like, obviously for security reasons, body doubles probably. Wasn't there even a show about Saddam Hussein's doubles. He had like a whole house full of them. Or was it one of his sons? Whatever. All right, guys, I'm gonna start getting ready to scoot. Tomorrow, like I said, Pink Patriot Podcast will be back on this channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And we have White Hat and Patricia from the Keystone channel tomorrow night, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to come back for that. It's been emotional, First Floor Audio. Hang in there. I know. The awakening is emotional. These times are emotional, and it's not even just bad emotional, it's good emotional too. Like, I feel things so deeply now. I cry out of happiness all the time. I cry out of my connections. I mean, I'm like, we should just change this channel to Kate Cries. Because Kate cries on this show quite regularly. Everybody will attest to that. And it's not easy, but it's also really beautiful. And just hang in there and allow yourself to feel it, allow yourself to go through it. I like to take a bath and cry. I like to take a bath and ugly cry. That's how I get through it when I'm feeling like I need to. Crying is a good thing. It's a release. It's a release, and it's good for you. So don't feel bad about crying. Everybody's crying lately. Lots of guys I know are crying lately even, so it's okay. All right, you guys, well, I love you, and I will see you tomorrow night if you'll be back for Pink Patriot Podcast with me and Alara. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.